my Nana was sick for a long time, like years. So when my aunt moved in with her, it made perfect sense. I didn't get to visit very often, but when I did, I always made sure to let them know to call me if they ever needed anything. If my aunt needed a night off, like literally anything, I never got a call. And with Nana being sick, I didn't want to just show up. Nana's dog passed away. She had a black lab for my entire life. So when Holly passed away, there was talk of getting her a dog that could alert for her diabetes. I'm pretty sure my Nana told people she didn't want another dog, but sometimes people need someone else to make that decision for when it's been long enough. Instead, my aunt got herself a dog. It still pisses me off to think about. She forgot I had named my daughter Riley and named her dog the same thing. And then one night it ran out to the road and got hit by a delivery van. My cousin was online threatening the driver. I've had my dog hit by a car before, and never did I consider the driver as 100% responsible. My aunt called my dad in the middle of the night, sobbing, like inconsolable. He couldn't understand what she was saying, so obviously he assumed the worst about his mother. It's shit like that that shows a person's true character. My aunt's brain falls out of her head when something traumatic happens, because it's as simple as handing someone else the phone or acting like an adult and dealing with it herself instead of getting my dad out of bed when he already has an entire house full of people to take care of. Anytime I saw my aunt, everything was always looking bad. She was always exhausted and sore. She made it seem like taking care of Nana was such a chore, but never called me to come and help. I had been keeping my stuff at Nana's house that I couldn't fit in my storage unit, just in the garage. It was never my plan to keep my stuff there for years, but my plans went out the window, and I don't have a lot of family, so I really appreciated being able to keep my stuff there. Eventually, once Nana stopped being able to get around on her own, my aunt decided that she wanted to put a pool table in the garage, so her and her friends would have somewhere. I'll never understand how a daughter, knowing how much her mother enjoyed gardening, she just kept saying Nana can't get there anymore. But Nana was in a wheelchair. She just needed to be pushed. I can't even remember how many times I said I'd come over, and all Nana would have to do is point, and I'd plant stuff for her. Instead, it was just, no, she can't do it anymore. And then came the day my cousin needed a place to stay, and decided that her dogs needed the garage. So my stuff had to go, or it was going to the dump. I didn't respond great, but I didn't know what they expected me to do. When they were here at Christmas, my aunt had the nerve to comment how crowded the house is. I went over to talk. My cousin wanted to fight, but I had brought my daughter, never expecting a grown woman to try and attack a family member. I couldn't even mention it to Nana because nobody ever wanted to upset her. Even though my psychotic cousin ran through the house right past Nana sleeping so she could run all the way back up the driveway to get to me. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in person. They moved Nana into a care facility, even though my aunt has been a nurse for probably over 20 years now. There was no good reason to move Nana out of the home that her and my grandpa lived in together, the home that they made together. I don't understand why my Nana would leave her house and finances up to the only child of hers who's never managed to get her life together. Why she would do that to my dad and my uncle. Nana passed away on Monday, and when it came time to pay to have her cremated, my dad and uncle paid it. My Nana and Grandpa sold their big, beautiful lakefront house for $500,000 back in 2006. My grandparents had money, but my guess is that my aunt has blown it. I've always known both my grandparents to say everything gets divided up 3 ways because they have 3 kids. But it turns out that the will was changed, so now the house is all my aunt's. I have no doubt she's already looking to put it on the market. These people have no concept of sentimental value whatsoever. My grandpa had a record collection that I was never allowed to touch when I was younger, but I really hope to someday hear the kind of music that my grandparents listened to. My grandpa used to videotape everything. There's old videos of me and my sister that only they had, and I'm starting to doubt I'll ever get to see them again. I had heard from my mom that my sister talked to my cousin, and she mentioned having a celebration of life sometime in the spring. They say it's what Nana wanted, but funerals aren't for the person who died. They're for the people who grieve the loss of a loved one. There are lots of people who love Nana and would have attended. I'm worried for my dad, for when he finally comes to terms with the fact that his older sister fucked him over. I just know that both my mom and my aunt, who's married to my uncle, have been around since before we lost my grandpa, so they've also heard everything gets split into thirds. So my aunt had better come up with some money, because once my dad cuts her out of his life, I'm not keeping family secrets.